All right, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me for a hour-long Yin Yoga class. This is a floor-based class. You don't need any fancy yoga props. You want either a yoga mat, a carpeted area, or both. And then as far as props go, you might want a few household blankets and pillows nearby. There's no prop-heavy postures in this class, but you might want just a few pillows or blankets nearby. Okay, so we're going to start. Find yourself in a comfortable seated position, whatever that is for you. You can sit crisscross applesauce or in Sukhasana with one foot in front of the other. You can take a moment, maybe rock back and forth, and then really feel both sit bones on the floor. Sit up nice and tall, drop your shoulders, relax your jaw, and take a nice slow breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Breathing in and slowly breathing out. We're going to start with a breathing exercise called 4-2-7 breathing. You'll inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold the breath for 2, and exhale for a count of 7 through the nose as well. This is kind of like a sibling breathing exercise to 4-7-8 breathing, but this one it's all done through the nose. The idea is you'll inhale, hold the breath, and then exhale slower than you inhale, which helps to calm the central nervous system, taking you out of a fight, flight, or fright parasympathetic nervous system response. If after a few rounds of 4-2-7 breathing, you're still having trouble getting the count right, like you're having trouble breathing, just think about inhaling, holding, and then exhaling a little bit longer than you inhale. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so sitting up tall. You can close your eyes if you want. Closing your eyes is distracting. Do a soft, fuzzy gaze just beyond the tip of your nose. Seal your lips. Relax your jaw. Drop your shoulders and begin. Inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the inhale. 1, 2. Exhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. 1, 2. Exhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the oxygen. 2, 1. Breathe out for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, counting the 4 as you inhale. Pause for 2, counting the 2 as you hold. And then exhale for 7, counting down as you exhale. Inhale for 4. Pause for 2. Exhale through the nose for 7. Let's do one more minute of 4-2-7 breathing, using the count to center your mind. Let's do one more full round of 4-2-7 breathing. Whenever you're ready, just returning your breath to normal, in and out through your nose. Again, that's called 4-2-7 breathing. It's a really handy breathing technique that I use whenever I'm feeling a little anxious, or maybe if I'm having a conversation with someone who, I'm not particularly fond of having a conversation with. That's a simple breathing technique that you can do anywhere. You can do it in your car, in the grocery store, right? At your home. And again, it just helps to calm the central nervous system. Okay, as you're ready, you're going to open your eyes and make your way onto your back for our first Yin Yoga posture. Let's just take a moment here on your back. The first posture of the day is a fan favorite, Bananasana, banana pose. Picture in your mind's eye your favorite banana. It can be perfectly yellow, maybe a little green still, maybe brown and bruised. Could be Chiquita, Dole, Trader Joe's, Fair Trade, organic, right? All of the above. And making that C shape, right, with your mind, we're going to make that banana shape with the body. So bring your feet close together, legs together. Bring your arms overhead. And if you'd like, you can take a moment here, flex your feet and stretch up and down like you're having a nice yawn in the morning. As you're ready, you're going to walk your feet and your hands to the right side of your mat or your area so that from a bird's eye view, your body makes a C shape. You're welcome to keep your feet side by side. You can also cross your left ankle on top of your right ankle for an outer left thigh IT band stretch. With the arms, you can keep your hands side by side. You can cross left hand on top of right hand, or you can bend your arms and catch opposite elbow and opposite hand. And we're just going to hold here for 4 minutes. So if you ever see me playing around with my phone, I'm not ignoring you. I'm simply setting a timer so we get the time right. Okay. So Yin Yoga has 3 very simple tenets. Make a shape with your body, hold the shape, breathe through your nose. That's it. So we've made this banana shape with our body. Now we're holding and breathing in and out through the nose. Yin Yoga comes as kind of it's a fairly new style of yoga that comes in reaction to like power yoga, vinyasa yoga, hot yoga, where you're moving and contracting and really moving in time and space and generating a lot of heat in the body. Yin Yoga is slow, right? We're going to intentionally hold postures for 3 to 5 minutes. This works into connective tissue, right? Into tendons, ligaments, fascia, your joints. So versus in a more fast-paced yoga class where you hold postures for like 30 seconds to a minute, you're often contracting muscles to get into postures. In Yin Yoga, you want to relax your muscles. And in postures where you're holding for 30 seconds to a minute, right, you might get a nice stretch to the muscles, but you're not necessarily working into connective tissue the way that you do when you hold for a long period of time. On that note, in Yin Yoga, you want to do about 70% of what you think you should be doing. And if you, like me, are kind of a go-getter who tends to push yourself, I'm going to encourage you to do like 50 to 60% of what you think you should be doing. A little bit goes a long way, especially when you're holding postures for long periods of time. At first in postures, it might not feel like much is happening, but as the posture goes on, you might feel a little bit of discomfort in the body or even a little bit of discomfort in the mind or in the heart or the spirit just from holding still. If at any point, you're having trouble breathing or something is really painful, does not feel right for your body, you can always switch up what you're doing. But notice the difference between occasionally adjusting in a posture because it does not feel good versus constantly moving around because being still is a little scary, right? One of the things that we're practicing here is stillness. And for that reason, some people say that Yin Yoga is actually like one of the harder styles of yoga to do because it does invite us just into stillness and into breath. We have about a minute left. If you are feeling too much of a stretch along the left side body, you can bring your hands and feet a little bit closer to the center line of your mat. If you're not feeling anything at all with a minute left, you can bring your hands and feet closer to the right side of the mat, stretching left side body more, gently compressing right side body as you bend your spine. Or maybe you feel right just where you are, and then you can just hold and breathe. Notice where you might be holding on to some tension in the body and see if you can let it go in the last breaths of this posture, right? So just melting into the posture, Relaxing into the floor, letting go of any unnecessary tension in the body. Okay, we're gonna come out of Yin Yoga postures slowly because we've been in them for a while. So if your hands or feet are crossed in any way, slowly uncross, there's no rush. And then as you're ready, you're gonna walk your hands and feet back to the center of your mat. You can bring your arms down, you can kind of roll out back and forth, side to side if that feels good. Wiggle it out and then return to a neutral position, arms and legs down. In many styles of yoga, this is called Savasana or corpse pose. In Yin Yoga, this is often referred to as Puddle Pose, like Puddle, like a puddle after a rainstorm. And the idea is you can open your arms and legs as much as you want. It's just a nice little reset button for your body in between postures. Okay, let's do the other side. Bring your feet close together, arms overhead. And as you're ready, walk your hands and feet to the left side of your mat, stretching the right side body, gently compressing the left side body. You're also opening through the shoulders and chest with the arms overhead. Option to cross your right foot over the left foot. You can keep your arms straight or bend elbows. You know, maybe if you cross your left foot over the right foot on the other side, on this side, you also want to cross your foot. At the same time, note that we're not symmetrical. So what worked on the other side might not work for this side, right? Maybe you need to keep the feet uncrossed or bend your elbows, right? Or if having your arms up is too much for the shoulders, you could have your arms down. This is a class where you can really make it your own. As a gentle reminder, the goal of yoga is always self-realization, just getting to know yourself a little bit better, accept and love yourself a little bit better. The goal is not necessarily becoming flexible or strong or symmetrical, right? Those are all byproducts of a yoga class for sure, or a yoga practice. But just keep in mind that the goal really does not have to do with like your physical body, how you look, how the postures feel. The goal is really just about taking some time for yourself to enjoy your own company as you gently stretch your body in a world where we often kind of sit still, right? This is a nice way. You're still being still, practicing intentional stillness and breath, but you're also moving your body, right? Waking up the spine, opening through the chest and shoulders. Notice where you might be holding on to some tension in your body. Again, we're just relaxing muscles to get into the postures, right? So see if you can relax just a little bit more. About a minute left, right? You can stay just as you are. You can bring your arms and hands a little closer to the left. Or if it's too much of a stretch, bring your arms and feet closer to the center line of your body. Okay. As you're ready, you're going to uncross your feet or your hands. Take your time, slowly bring your hands and feet back to the center line of your mat. You can wiggle out in any way that feels good, and then make your way into your puddle pose. Now in general, right, you can lie on your back with your arms and legs flat. However, if lying on your back with your legs straight does not feel good to your lower back, that is really normal. A couple options. You can bend your legs so that your feet are on the floor and your knees rest together, or you can take a small pillow or blanket and place it under your lower back, and that should take add some support to the lumbar spine, right? So just know that if at any point having your legs straight doesn't feel good to your body, you can switch it up. Okay, as you're ready, you're going to bend your legs. If they're not already, feet on the floor. Take your time rolling off to one side. If it feels good, you can even kind of ball up and give yourself a squeeze. And then place your hands on the floor and press yourself up. Make your way into a seated position, sitting on your butt. You're going to sit with your feet out in front of you for a shoelace pose, eagle arm variation. I'll explain all of it. So look at your legs, identify which leg is left, which leg is right. I'm going to pick my right leg first. Keep your left leg straight. Bend your right leg over your left leg. So eventually right knee stacks on top of left knee. This is what's called half shoelace pose. Option to stay here, or if you'd like, bend your left leg so both legs are bent, knees stack on top of one another. This is not accessible to everyone. Know that you can have your bottom leg straight, and also know that if one knee is like super high, you can place blankets or pillows in between your knees, right? That's very normal to have the knees be lifted. It's just tight hips. And again, like through these postures, we slowly start to open our hips, but you're never forcing the body. From here, you're going to bring your arms out to the side. So just make a note, if your right knee is on top of your left knee, my right knee is on top of my left knee, you're going to give yourself a big hug with the left elbow on bottom. So left elbow under right elbow over left elbow. Okay, option to stay here or go into your eagle arms with your palms together, thumbs towards your nose. And also interlace fingers. And from here, you're just going to fold forward and drop your head. If folding forward is too much of a stretch or does not feel good to your back, stay nice and lifted. You are also welcome to place pillows in between your legs and your chest, maybe a pillow in front of you for your head to rest on, right? And we're going to hold here for 4 minutes. If your bottom leg is straight and a half shoelace, you'll feel a nice stretch to the left hamstring as you fold forward. If your bottom leg is bent in shoelace pose, you might feel more of a stretch to the outer right thigh, right side seat, and right hip. And also, you might not feel anything at all, or you might feel this somewhere else in your body. We all have very different experiences in yoga postures and yoga classes. And a lot of yoga is just learning to like trust and validate your own experience. So for example, if you're feeling this like in your toes or in your knees, right, that's very normal as well. As for the upper body, crossing the arms, giving yourself a nice hug is a nice way to really stretch the shoulders apart. And if you have your eagle hand variation, right, we're also working into elbow and wrist joints. Notice where you might be holding on to some unnecessary tension in the body, and let it go through the exhale breath. We have about a minute and a half left. If how you're sitting or lying does not feel good for your body, remember that you can switch it up, maybe coming out of the eagle arms, maybe lifting up so you're in a seated position, right? Maybe keeping the bottom leg straight. Otherwise, just holding and breathing, melting a little deeper. Just remember that you're never going to a point of pain and you want to do about 70% of what you think you should be doing. Okay, if you're folded forward, you're going to slowly lift yourself up. You're in your eagle arms, you're going to uncross those, give yourself a hug, bring your arms out to the side, big expansive dance gesture, bring your arms down. If your bottom leg is bent, you're going to straighten your bottom leg, then uncross. So both legs are in front of you. If you'd like, you can place your hands behind you, put your feet on the floor, maybe windshield wiper your legs. And then as you're ready, you're going to make your way onto your abdomen for a belly Savasana or belly puddle pose. So when you lie on your abdomen, couple options. You can bend your elbows out to the side with your hands in. You can have your face on the floor. You can also look to one side. You can also have your arms down by your side, palms facing up, and that's a nice shoulder neck stretch. Send deep belly breaths in and out through your nose to massage the front of your body. Breathe deep into any point of tension. Let the floor hold you up. If you're looking to one side, you can gently lift your head and look to the other side. Evening out the shoulders. And as you're ready, you're going to look forward. Before we do the other set, or the other side, I should say, of our shoelace eagle variation, we're going to do a fun back bend in between called Skinks Pose. So picture in your mind's eye your favorite Sphinx. It can be the Sphinx in Egypt, at the Luxor in Las Vegas, in Harry Potter Book 4. We're going to make that regal, mysterious Sphinx shape with our body. So looking forward, bend your elbows so that your forearms are on the floor. Feet can be, hip to mat with distance. You don't want your feet like all the way apart, right? But they don't have to be neatly together. I'm going to show you what it looks like from the front. So if you can imagine what a Sphinx looks like, right? Kind of looks like this. One thing to keep in mind here, notice if your shoulders tense up into your ears. That happens to me a lot. There is a little bit of an activation with the forearms here, pressing down through the lower arms so that the shoulders stay out of the ears. We're going to hold here for 3 minutes. Okay. Some other options here. You can eventually have your elbows under your shoulders for a deeper back bend. If this is too much of a back bend, bring your arms forward so that your elbows are in front of your shoulders. If lying on your abdomen does not feel good for your stomach, you are welcome to place pillows underneath your hips so that your abdomen hangs off of the stomach. This is really good if you are like pregnant, breastfeeding, or maybe just had like a big meal before class, right? Or any other sort of abdominal wall discomfort. You could also place pillows underneath your chest for a little bit more support so that you don't have to rely so much on the arm activation. So again, there's a little bit of activation in the arms to keep the shoulders out of the ears, but other than that, notice where you might be holding on to some unnecessary tension, right? Like relax through your feet, your pelvic floor, let your chest soften. This is a great back bend. Keep your neck long, especially in a world where we tend to hunch forward a lot, especially like look down at our cell phones, right? This is a great healing compression for the spine. You're stretching through the fascia on your chest. So if you tend to have like a tight chest, right, this is a nice way to gently open through the front of the body as you gently compress the spine, never going to a point of pain. With about 30 seconds left, you can stay just as you are, or you can go for a seal pose at the end, which is a deeper back bend. Spread your fingers wide, push your palms into the floor, straighten your arms, drop your shoulders. Breathe. Okay, as you're ready, if the arms are straight and sealed, bend the elbows, and then everybody together, slowly bring the elbows out, hands in. And again, have your head on the floor or look to one side. You can keep your elbows bent, arms by your face, or you can bring your arms down. And if lying on your abdomen does not feel good, you can lie on your back in puddle pose as well, right? Or even on your side. Let that posture go. We tend to carry some tension, right, in the chest and the shoulders. Sometimes doing back bends can release some emotion from the body. So if you ever, especially in a back bend or a hip opener, feel an urge to like laugh or cry, or you get angry or sad or whatever that, or like joyful, giddy, whatever it is, just know that that's normal, right? We carry some tension in our body. And one of the nice things about yoga is it's like a safe space, especially on Zoom, right? A very safe and private space to let go of whatever it is that you'd like to let go of. If you're looking to one side, gently lift your head, look to the other side. Okay, as you're ready, you're going to look forward, hands to floor. Gently press yourself up, make your way back onto your butt in a seated position for our other side of shoelace. So sitting on your butt with your legs out in front of you. So if you cross your right leg on the first set, right, on this one, you're going to cross your left knee over your right knee. And this side might feel really different, right? So just keep that in mind, right? You can always place props in between your knees, right? You can keep the bottom leg straight, or you can bend the bottom leg as well. You can place a prop like under your ankle, right? Whatever feels good for you. Okay, and from here, you're going to bring your arms out to the side in a big expansive gesture. And this time cross left elbow under right. Nope, sorry, right elbow under left elbow. Did that wrong. Right elbow under left elbow on top of right elbow. Giving yourself a nice big hug. Option to stay here or bring the wrists together, palms together, thumbs towards your nose, pinkies away from you, and your eagle arms. You can also interlock fingers or grab a thumb, right? Or keep the shoulders together. Option to stay lifted, or as you're ready, fold forward. Drop your head, Try to keep your sit bones on the floor. If you find that you're tilting way forward, right, you could place a little blanket or pillow under your butt, but in general, you want to keep the hips down so you really feel the stretch in the legs. We're going to hold here for 4 minutes. My lefts and rights are all off today. Right away, if this doesn't feel right for your body, right, just keep in mind that every posture is different, every side of your body is different. And again, you might know why. It might be like an injury to like a knee or a surgery to your hip or your shoulder, right? Or you might have had no idea until just now that like, wow, my left hip is a lot tighter than my right hip today. And that's okay. Again, yoga is about like self-realization and also non-judgment, right? If this side feels different or you're realizing like, I'm really inflexible in my hips or whatever that is, try not to assign a judgment like good or bad. You're just like compassionately observing your own experience in your body as you breathe through your nose. Notice where you might be carrying tension, maybe where you're fighting with the posture. Rather than forcing or fighting, right, just relax into the posture. Melt into your breath. Right, releasing the body, giving yourself permission just to breathe. We have about 30 seconds left. Sometimes at the end, I know it can get a little uncomfortable, right? Relax your jaw, breathe through your nose. Okay, as you're ready, you're gonna lift yourself up. The arms are in eagle, giving the shoulders a squeeze. And then bring your arms out, nice big expansive posture, arms down. If your bottom leg is crossed, straighten your bottom leg. And at your own pace, undo top leg. So both legs are in front of you. And again, any motions that feel good to your body, feel free to do them. Whew. And then turn, lie on your back, puddle pose. So sometimes the release from a posture can be as intense as the posture itself. Sometimes the release from a posture can be as therapeutic as the posture itself. So you might notice, for example, like a shift in temperature in your body. You might notice blood going into a certain part of your body in that posture, right? Especially if you were doing the eagle arms. We did cut off a little bit of circulation to the elbows and wrists, not like to a dangerous extent, but when you come out of eagle, with the arms, right, you get a nice rush of blood through the shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingertips. Same thing with the lower body, right? You might feel a rush of blood towards the hips, the thighs, the groin, right? And especially after stretching muscles for a while, it's just nice to lie on your back. Remember that you can keep your legs bent or have a small pillow or blanket under the lower back as well. Okay, next we're going to do a spine twist. You can bring your arms out to the side. You can also bend your elbows, cactusing them like goalposts. Bend your knees so that your feet are on the floor if they're not already. And from here, you're going to start to roll to your left so that your right hip stacks on top of left hip. Right foot on top of left foot. Try to keep your right shoulder on the floor. You can have the back of your head on the floor or look to your right so that your right ear is on your mat. This is option one. You can stay here with both legs bent. You can also try straightening your bottom leg. And if it feels good, you can also kick out your top leg and that'll have a nice IT band stretch to the outer right thigh. Or you can keep one or both legs bent, right? Lots of options. Do what feels right for your body. And we're going to hold here for 4 minutes. Surprising no one. So spine twists to me are like the unsung hero of back health. If you sit at a desk all day, by now you've probably realized that it's good to like stand up every hour and put your hands on your back and do a back bend, right? You also want to be twisting the spine. Sometimes you'll even hear a pop, almost like a chiropractic adjustment. This is just a shifting in synovial fluid, the gaseous liquid in between your vertebrae. It's not a bad thing. This spine twist is also an abdominal wall twist, which is really good for digestion or indigestion, right? So if you ever have an upset stomach, know that twisting your spine and your abdomen is also a nice way to like release any gas bubbles in your stomach. As well, right? You're really stretching through the chest and the shoulders. On a perhaps more philosophical level, in traditional Chinese medicine, different areas of your body are associated with not just like physical aches and pains, but with like emotional aches and pains. So for example, if you experience pain in the back of your body, it's associated with something from the past, right? It's very common perhaps to lose a loved one, right? And to have your back go out. That's like a common experience. Versus the front of your body, if you feel discomfort there, that's associated with a concern about the future, right? How many of you have like had a job interview or a first date or something like that and felt like butterflies in your stomach, right? Or nerves in your stomach, thinking about the future. And it's believed that spine twists bring us into the present moment. So they even out, our worries about the past or our concerns about the future. So through a spine twist, right, you can kind of come into the present moment, relieving any discomfort about, the future, worries about the past. You're just really inviting yourself into your breath, into this moment. We have a little over a minute left. Okay. You're looking to the right, roll your head back to center. If your top leg is straight, bend your top leg. If your bottom leg is straight, bend your bottom leg so both legs are together. And then you're going to roll back onto your abdomen. And sometimes I actually like to place my hands on my knees, thighs for support, right? So rolling the glutes back down, you can wiggle out in any way that feels good to you. Then make your way into your puddle pose. Bend your legs if they're not already. Roll off to one side, maybe the side you haven't rolled off to yet. And then place your hands on the floor, press yourself up. And in between sets of spine twists, we're going to do a child's pose. So make your way into a seated position. And then as you're ready, you're going to make your way onto your knees, your shins. You can do child's pose with your knees and feet together, or a wide-legged child's pose with your knees apart. The further apart you open the knees, the more you will feel the stretch in the hips and the inner thighs. From here, you're going to walk your hands forward. So forehead to floor, arms long. It's a great back stretch. And I have lots of fun alternatives or prop uses here. So in general, the idea for our child's pose is that we're lengthening through the spine, stretching through the toes, ankles, knees, thighs, and hips. A couple things to keep in mind. For a lot of folks, the hips don't come anywhere near the heels. In fact, sometimes the hips are super lifted. You are welcome to place as many blankets or pillows as you would like in between your calves and your hamstrings so that you can really let your hips sink down and you don't just feel like your hips are like way up in the air. If you have tight ankles, knees, toes, you can roll up your mat or place a small blanket or pillow under any of those tight lower joints so that you don't feel so much pressure on them. You are also welcome to place pillows or blankets under your chest or under your head. And if having your arms forward is too much for your shoulders, have your arms down by your side or even bent out. So there's lots of different options here, right, to stretch into the body so that it feels good. Holding here for 3 minutes. About a minute and a half left. If you need to add a prop, remove a prop, switch up what you're doing in any way, it's a great time to do that. Otherwise, just holding still as you breathe. Relax through your hands and feet. Let your hips and chest get a little heavier. As you inhale, feel the backs of your ribs expand. If you want a deeper stretch, really intentionally expanding the ribs here. As you exhale, feel the ribs gently contract as you relax into the posture even more. Okay, as you're ready, you're gonna look forward, slowly walk your hands back in. There's no rush. Press yourself up, take your time, sitting up tall. At your own pace, remove any blankets or pillows that you might have used. And then turn around, relax on your back, puddle pose. Just observing any sensations that occur as you release out of that posture. And it could be physical, like a change in temperature in your body, or maybe a release or a tightening of something. Or you might feel it more in like the, psychological, spiritual, emotional body as well. Maybe a release of some emotion or a certain thought or realization. There's no right or wrong answer. And sometimes the truth is we feel a lot in yoga postures, and sometimes the truth is we don't feel much. So, I will occasionally talk about, oh, you might want to cry when you do a back bend, but if you're like, I don't feel anything, I don't know what you're talking about, that is also super valid. Again, we're just validating whatever our experience is and trusting that it's the right one for us in this moment. Do the other side of spine twist. You can bring your arms out to the side or bend them like goalposts. Bend your legs, feet on the floor. And this time roll to your right so that your left hip stacks on top of right hip, left knee on top of right knee, left foot on top of right foot, left shoulder on the floor. Option to keep the back of the head on the floor or on this side, look to the left ear towards the floor. And again, you could straighten that bottom leg and keep the top leg bent. You could also kick out the top leg and then you'll feel that stretch on the outer thigh. So lots of options. You notice your mind wandering in an unnecessary or unpleasant direction. Yoga is a wonderful time, not just to practice stillness or breath. Yoga is also a really wonderful time to practice compassionate mind control, like in meditation. So if you find that you're entering into self-doubt or anxiety or worries, right? It's just an opportunity to practice coming back into your body, back into your breath, back into the truth of the present moment. You have about a minute left. Do with that information what you will. you're looking to the left, slowly at your own pace, bring your head back to center. If your top leg is kicked out to the right, then the top leg. If your bottom leg is straight, then the bottom leg. So the legs stack one on top of the other. And then you're going to find your way back onto your spine. So again, I like to place my hands on my knees, thighs, roll your left sit bone down, making any gestures that feel good for your body. And then back into your puddle pose. Final posture of the day is a supine butterfly. So you're going to bend your legs so your feet are on the floor. And then slowly let your knees fall out to the side so that the soles of your feet, the insides of your feet touch. The closer you bring your heels to your groin, the more you will open through your hips. The further away you bring your feet from your groin, like the closer you bring your feet to the back of your mat, I should say, the less intense you will feel that hip opener. And for me, I like to place pillows underneath my knees, and you're welcome to as well. This is a great option if you are, have tight hips and so they don't want to come out, or tight knees. But I'll say from my perspective, I actually have like overly flexible hips, so I purposely put pillows underneath them so that they don't open too much, because I find, again, too much is too much. Even if your body can go to a certain point, you're not forcing your body. Holding here for 4 minutes. And have your arms down by your side. You can also bend your arms and place like one hand over your heart and one hand over your abdomen. It's a nice option to really feel your body move with your breath. Or if you feel like being expansive today, bring your arms out to the side, especially if you're a person who tends to like not take up a lot of space. Yoga is a wonderful opportunity to take up as much or as little space as you want. This is a great hip and knee opener. It's good for releasing tension from the hips. And I have to share one of my favorite Yin Yoga jokes. Some people call this the most spiritual of postures because it's the meeting of two souls. The insides of your feet are touching, your soles are meeting. How beautiful. That one always makes me laugh. Okay, on that note, I will give us some time just to be and breathe. We have a little over a minute left. If this hip opener is too much, right? Bring your feet further away from you, replace some pillows or blankets under your knees. And if you're not feeling anything at all, maybe bring your heels a little closer to your hips towards your groin. Otherwise, just hold and breathe where you are. See if you can relax just a little deeper. Just give your muscles permission to release. All right. To come out of this posture, there's a couple options. You can simply straighten your legs towards the back of your mat, or you can place your hands on your outer thighs, bring your knees together, set your props aside, arms and legs down for final Savasana. And for this final Savasana, I'm going to invite you to get like as fancy and bougie as you want. So you can place pillows under your head, under your legs. You can put a blanket over you, right? Let this be fun and relaxing and maybe even a little luxurious, right? And then when you're ready, wee. When you're ready, just going into your final puddle pose, right? Letting everything relax onto the floor. And let the floor hold you up. Relax through the crown of your head. Soften through your scalp. Relax your forehead and jaw. Let your eyes be heavy in their sockets. Relax your shoulders and chest. Let your belly button be heavy like that. Soften through your arms. Fingers relaxed. Palms heavy. Relax through the upper, middle, and lower back. Let go of any lingering tension in your glutes or your hips. Soften through your pelvic floor, your thighs and calves. Let your feet be heavy. Hands be heavy. Head be heavy. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale. You are so very alive. Stay in your final puddle pose for as long as you'd like. I'm going to encourage you when you do get up to get up slowly. And we have been laying down for a while, so make sure that you sit up for a while before you stand up. And we really did stretch through the body a lot, so make sure that you are drinking lots of water this evening. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all soon. Thanks, friends.